Whew, that was a lot of work.
It was. It was.
Hey,
Good
everybody.
evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Whew. Hey, we got a new day. How y'all doing today? Good. Hey, before we get started today, what's today? Today is Thursday,
There.
January 6th. Today is the first anniversary of unmute. Are you? Today's the first year anniversary of unmute your mic, T. Oh, never mind. The first year anniversary of the insurrection in Washington, and so we just want to take a quick second for a moment of silence. Good evening, Regina Osiris. Good evening. Okay. So hey, Teresa.
Hey there. How are you?
Okay, how was your week?
It has been a week. It has been a year so far.
It's only 6 days into the year.
Right. Right.
Hey, hi, brother. How are you? Aw. It's been a heck of a week, y'all. So, my name is Tamora Freeman. In case you guys didn't know, I am co-founder By Any Means organization 501c3. We have been with By Any Means since let's see, 2020, you guys, and we started a nonprofit, basically to combat COVID. Actually, COVID inside the prisons, but our mission has began to move much further from the prisons. I wanted to say that I've been doing this since roughly about 1996. An advocate, started advocating on behalf of people who could not advocate for themselves in 1996, and probably earlier than that. I probably was born this way, but that's another story.
We were.
Okay. And from there, 1999, I joined the government and continued to advocate, and then joined the Army and continued to advocate. So this is nothing new to us as far as advocating. However, we are really excited for 2022, as we discussed a couple weeks ago. Tonight, I wanted to just, my co-founder and I, Teresa Rogers, I wanted to just hand it over to her so she can talk about who she is.
Hi everyone. I'm Teresa Rogers. I am in Akron, Ohio, by way of Cleveland. I always add that. I've also been advocating all my life. Probably started advocating for myself. I had my first child pretty young, and so I've advocated for teen moms along with myself for a long time. I've been in the cosmetology hair world for 20 years. I've advocated. I have 5 kids. I've advocated for them. I've education and everything down the line, and prisons. I've been affected with prisons for a number of years. I think everybody, even when I got started specifically advocating for prisoners during COVID, one of the first things I did was ask, who all has somebody or knows somebody or themselves have been involved within the system. And it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. It was almost easier to ask who hasn't.
Yes.
So I have had a passion for doing hair. It doesn't feel like work, but this is equal. This is equal to that. If not, my desire is a little bit more, to literally like set some people free that are deserving. That are deserving.
God, yes. Yes.
So we've had a few things. She mentioned that's what we have been known to do. B.A.M, By Any Means, has been known to advocate for prisoners. We are excited to branch off. You guys will hear within this month and the coming months all of the different things that we have going on. That this will still be a priority and a passion for us, but we're able to touch a lot more lives. So we're excited about that. Very excited.
I would like to read, part of our statement, our mission, because we're so excited. You guys have no idea. Like, it has taken us, God has gotten us to this point. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for, thank you, baby. Oh, is this for Christmas? Okay. Thank you, daughter. Thank you. Oh. On live radio. Love you. It's the love for me.
Yes.
B.A.M.'s mission is to provide a positive environment for citizens by developing programs that reflect the current temperature in society. We aim to pull from our ancestors the knowledge of and wisdom taught, pass the wisdom on to our future generations by building for our youth and providing a safe space for returning citizens, and also a safe space for our fellow advocates and activists. And with that, Teresa, she might be talking to the kids. So we're talking. Hey, Nicole, you watching? Did you see your sister?
So, yeah, I was about to laugh at Nicole. I was trying to respond.
It's okay.
So, okay. This week, if we could jump into it, we just want to touch base. So everybody's not very familiar with the justice system and what goes on, and just certain things pertaining to sentencing. There's a lot of different things that need to be discussed and sorted out and fixed. But one major thing that we keep coming across, there's two things, and this will lead into our segment next week if you want to join us next Thursday. One is consecutive versus concurrent, which we're going to deal with today. Yeah. And then you have all of the laws that states operate under, especially Ohio, that hold people captive. I mean, they literally hold people captive. So today we're going to discuss consecutive versus concurrent. For those of you that aren't aware, concurrent is when you get sentenced on different charges and they run it together. Yeah. Consecutive, they run them after each other. Yeah. So one case that we've been dealing with, Frankie Porter's case, he has 258 years to 528 years. And 228 to 528. And he literally, on any of his charges, was sentenced to 10 to 15 years. But what they did was run it consecutively. And that's how you get up to that many years. So I thought it was important for us to just dive into that and just try to break down the different, what a difference it would make for people to get out, especially when you've exhausted all means. You've written to who you could write to, Congress and the governor for clemency, the judge, prosecutors. Just that by itself, just the sentencing it plays a huge role. It does. So we just wanted to talk about that today.
So in 2000, we have the laws from 2012 and 2009. I want to read the ones from 2012 first and then go backwards, because it lets us know that they've been above their own laws.
Right. Which still is the same issue.
Right. You're changing laws. You need to make them retro. But okay. This is section, the Senate Bill 337, the 129th General Assembly, section 2929-14103, 71-103. And section E, it says that revised a prison term, jail term, or sentence term of imprisonment shall be served concurrently with any other prison term, jail term, or sentence of imprisonment imposed by the state, the court of the state, another state, United States, except as provided Division 3. And then in 2009, it says all prison terms may be ended in the manner provided by law, but no prison term shall exceed the maximum term provided for the felony of which the prisoner was convicted, as extended pursuant to section 2929-141 or 2967-28 of the revised code. This is all Ohio law, by the way, y'all. It's all Ohio law. So what they were saying is, they've been saying that as far as consecutive versus concurrent, because we have the actual consecutive prison terms, the general rule is that there's a presumption that sentences will run concurrently unless, now this is the law, even though they've changed it, unless the court makes findings that consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public or to punish the offender, and that they are not disappropriate to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and to the danger the offender poses to the public. So you have two different laws we're looking at here, but they're only following one. Basically, the judges have been able to sentence however they want to sentence, and that's not cool. So what you're looking at, someone like Frankie Porter, which I believe when we did the podcast with him, we put on there, Frankie Porter was sentenced to 228 to 528 years. No one was harmed. No one was killed.
So one of the things that gets me with this, with their codes, it's it reminds me of, in a way, the 13th Amendment.
Oh,
because it's the except for.
It's the exception clause.
So it's always the law states that the sentence should be imposed and carried out concurrently, except for.
Except.
Which leaves it into the judge's hands. And oftentimes, personally, me and we don't know specifically what these, we haven't been in prison, let's say that. Yeah. So the most personal way that I can relate to this is family. How do most of us, how has most of us been affected by the system? Me personally, my brothers both went to prison young. So with that, just different ways they can get you our gun specs. Frankie's case is interesting in that regard also, because when you talk about the 228 to 528 years, before he could even get started on that, I don't know if it was 30. I want to say it was like 27 that he had to specifically do first. It was probably 27 because he had gun specs. Yeah. So for each crime, instead of it being a concurrent sentence again, for that 3 years, they ran it consecutive. And before he could even start a day of his time, he had to do the gun specs.
Yes.
So personally, I watched my brother go to court, and he got 6 years. 3 were for a gun spec, 3 were for complicity, which is wrong place, wrong time. You were there. You're going to go with the people.
Yeah.
But the judge, literally on record, after the case was tried and everything, the victim hadn't identified my brother. We could get into the specifics of court cases, but the judge had even said that he had never seen a case tried with so little evidence. The prosecutor recommended 5 years. The judge gave him 6.
Yeah.
So it's the discretion of the judge.
Yes.
3 were for the gun spec, 3 were for the complicity charge, and they ran them consecutively, and he had to do the whole 6 years. There's no way around it,
day for day.
And that's 6 years. You know what I'm saying? That's possibly of 3 years where you could get out and start your life over. It's just I know that we have a misconception of how we look at prisoners, but I often say it doesn't matter what religion you are. It's in the word. If we can all agree on a message of treating each other equally, treating each other fair and kindly, it's in all the words that you're supposed to see about the prisoners. So it's just a passion for us. This specific thing, consecutive versus concurrent, we could sit here for hours and read you guys the codes, the different codes, because it's very confusing, because we operate under old laws
in Ohio. Two laws, two different laws.
Right. So situations like that require, especially when it's extreme time. We've had at least 5 to 7 cases since we've been dealing with our caseloads, just encouraging of people who have had a number of years who have been released. So,
Yeah.
but we're seeing a lot of it is resentencing, especially when the judge is no longer around or attention is
That's
brought to the situation.
Frankie's case.
Yeah,
As a
when
Frankie's
people
case.
when people start to care and join in and all come as one voice to help set somebody free.
Yeah. I think that's what needs to happen on these special cases, honestly. People like Frankie. Um, I was talking to a gentleman out in California, Jay Burton. His name is Jerry Burton, but Jay Burton, he's fighting for his freedom right now in Cali. Um, Elijah Wan or Theodis Minor here in Ohio, old law.
Oh wow.
Old
Especially
law.
with his case. So just as a preview, for those that can tune in next week, he specifically had a plea deal.
Hmm.
He specifically had a plea deal.
Lawyers told
And
him
he's
17 years.
and he's way over. And he's way over.
How long you been there? How long you been in prison?
Minor?
Uh-huh.
30, isn't it 30?
Yeah. 30 years.
30 years. 30 years. 30 years. And his plea deal was for
23.
you said
It was 20 life, which is life in Ohio, plus 3 for a gun spec.
23.
23 years.
So that's a whole nother issue. We have consecutive versus concurrent. We have the different laws that Ohio operates under, and then we have
We have
the
the
parole board.
Parole board. Because his issue
Then we
is
have the
board. Yeah,
which is huge.
Yeah, I know that I was talking to some folks over at the Plus Party, National Plus Party, and they were saying that one of the biggest challenges to people getting out of prison is going to the board for OLAW and knowing how to deal with the board. That's a major issue. I mean, even with Mr. Minor, who really has no idea how to approach the parole board. They don't tell them what to say, do. We've actually contacted the parole board ourselves to find out what it is that he needs to do in order to get released, because he's been flat with 5 different times. So one of the times that he was flopped, he went to the board. They gave him 2 years, and then he came back. They gave him 18 months and told him that they would let him out. He came back after 18 months. They gave him an additional 5 years. So they're playing. This has got to stop. And then we have proof.
So all these different situations where they're playing.
Right. We got proof that the actual prosecutor is writing the parole board saying don't let him out, even though they agreed upon a plea deal. So not just Mr. Minor, but so many different people this is happening to. Dorian Simpson, Walter Triplett. I mean, we can go on and on and on with the names.
And these are all people that we speak with. Like throughout this 2 years, we have been in touch. Not just even us two personally, team of us have been in touch with, man, a lot of people. A lot of people. We actually pulled up. I mean, if we really even got into all of the stories, man, we would be here for a while.
We'd be here
but
forever.
It started off with COVID, and it's interesting that you said that because I was following Chino, California, heavy.
Right.
New York, well, Rikers Island, and I just was following a lot of places, but California were some trendsetters. They actually gave us the idea for the caravan because they during COVID, a lot of people didn't want to come out and protest, so they were able to do the caravan idea, which was really effective for us. Right. But that's where I was watching that like, hey, and reaching out to activists and advocates in California and getting their input. We do a lot of that though. We do a lot of that. I really admire all the contacts that you've been able to put together and secure for B.A.M. We got some connects for sure.
Absolutely.
We're trying to make some noise for the people whose voices we can't hear.
Yeah.
There's some people screaming and praying and
Okay.
man, doing anything for a second chance.
Actually,
Just for a second chance.
The gentleman that's watching that say, "Hey, sisters, Elijah Gilmore. He's in Cali. He's in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
He just passed his year of being out of prison, and he made it to go with. Good Lord, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But I want to talk to the people, honestly, who have gone through the consecutive versus concurrent issues and how they were able to battle that in their families as well. So important.
Right.
That's so important. But we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Even if it means that we need to set up meetings with them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Elijah. See?
Say, woo, woo.
Woo, woo! You got
Yes.
that here? Are you ready to come in? Because we can send you the link now. Don't play. Don't
Right.
play with her.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of people. I always say it's just a misconception. There are a lot of good men and women behind bars. A lot.
Some of the best I've ever met, man. Some intelligent, highly intelligent people. The people whose minds have changed. Because, some people need to be buried underneath the prison and probably locked. And anything else that I can think of that I can say on this
platform.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of good people who have been incarcerated that are out here, that are hard workers, that are doing everything for their second chance and making it worth it. So
they are. They're working really hard, man. But society is still continuing.
And I always say it could have easily been me. It could have easily.
Hello.
Had I not have protected my peace in 2022, it could have been me.
Oh, say less, girl. Say less. Yes. I always say mine was back in 2000. When I come home from Afghanistan, I would say 2015 when it could have been.
So, not something that we've put out here on this platform, but if you're watching and you're interested in helping and you have any type of passion for this, we have a lot of JPEGs. We have a lot of different cases. If you personally have a situation that you want us to try to shed some light on, or you want to know how to advocate for your loved one, or hey, we're always looking for some help. Yes. We're serious about this. We're going to go super hard on trying to actually free some people. Break some chains and free some people.
Yes, absolutely. It's so major. It is so. Oh, he's so sweet. It's so major. We've got a couple people that have reached out and say, hey, we guys need help. And so we're gonna bring them on board. We gotta start them off small, but we're gonna bring them on board because they're ready to help. Let's get it, y'all. She's the JPEGs, but also helping us with research. That's major. Looking up laws and helping us. We really would like to build that team of attorneys across the United States for people.
Yes.
Because the law, we can study the law, which we do. In fact, we probably done been to law school over the past 2 years, honestly. But
and I just be reading through the stuff, and I'm like, man. And we got some of the most intelligent people on the inside who have definitely been.
Oh my God, my God, it's amazing. And then our cousin, over at Maya TV in the DMV, she's
phenomenal. She is phenomenal, and she exhausts all means.
When we say by any means necessary, yes, she does. So we've got people, working and helping. Well, we need a network of attorneys who's willing, and this is one of the things that I said when I was on the program the other day, is they have a lot of programs available for people who are wrongfully convicted or people who are innocent. And that's beautiful. Trust me, it's beautiful. I love to see people being exonerated and released from prison, because to me it's just like totally absurd that they would put an innocent person behind bars or even try a person incorrectly. But there's also people who have done their time, served their time, and it's time for them to get out. So we need some help to
They
help them
are.
get out.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. They're
um,
not the same person that they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I
They're
agree.
ready to start their life. They're ready to contribute to society. They're ready to help this generation come in behind them
Yes,
to be
yes.
successful.
One of the things that you said that caught my attention 2 years ago, um, he said, "Hold on, let me say this before I forget, because y'all know my brain is like." But one of the things that you said, Teresa, that really caught my attention is we have people who are in prison and they've been given a sentence, but COVID has given them a death sentence. You know, that's a no go, and it's heating back up. Grafton Reintegration Center right now, and that's the camp. If y'all don't know, they on lockdown right now because of COVID. So, um, we don't want to lose anyone else behind bars that was not sentenced, or just period, but more so that haven't been sentenced to a death sentence. It's just totally unfair. And so we want to fight, and that's one of the reasons that we started to fight. But Elijah said, seriously, those sisters informed that brother to put down these criminal law books looking for help. Their freedom is in civil law, specifically contract law.
Contract law. Their
Their
plea,
plea. Ooh,
judgment, placement within prison is governed by a contract. And
ooh,
that's
say
why I was saying that, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. He was supposed to come on last week. We can't get him on. StreamYard goofy.
Acting up, acting
But
up.
Elijah, Mr. Gilmore, next week, I hope you have it together. So you can join us next week, because I do believe the segment next week is under your jurisdiction. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so we have some cases that we've been working on for over a year. We've been in contact with families. We've been in contact with, in some cases, victims.
Yes.
Um, we've been in contact. We've done all kind of research. So next week we're definitely gonna switch gears. We've been focused on Mr. Porter's case, and we want to get over to Miner's case, because this is a whole nother injustice, just with how he was given a plea deal. He's been in there for an additional 7 years, at least 7 years. On top of that, the parole board has been giving him more time, and how he's operating under just different laws.
Totally.
When we say that, let me make it personal for you. My son was sentenced in 2018 to a plea deal of 9 years in January. Had he have taken the same plea deal in March of the same year, he would have been eligible to get out, which is judicial release, after 3 years. He has to do a full 5 before he's eligible. So he's just in the beginning of year 4 right now. But that's what we say. It doesn't retroactive when they make a law. So when we're saying old law, new law, it's not even necessarily one law or two laws. It's every time something changes, everybody that had a case or a sentence previous, and even in his case, just not even the sentencing, charged sometimes, aren't eligible for what they deem to be fair currently.
Right.
So we definitely want to deal with that. That will be next week's topic. The old law, new law. We'll probably touch on the
Contract.
parole board a little bit also.
Yeah, we need to.
We have several different cases, but we want you guys to be very familiar with these names of these individuals. That's how you keep people who don't have a voice relevant,
Yes.
because they definitely deserve a second chance, as do we all. It could be any one of us.
And
These situations
Ohio,
could be any one of us,
one
especially when you're talking about as a child,
yeah,
18, 17,
18,
18.
17, child tried as an adult, 16, 17 years old, like was that Dorian?
Mm-hmm.
Dorian went
16.
in 16 years old, but tried as an adult bind it over as an adult. No.
Or
No.
triplet. Or
Or
triplet, who's had if anybody's familiar with Trial 4,
yes.
he had 2 different trials where it was a hung jury, and then then we're not even getting into the race card. Like we're just not even touching on that right now. We're not even touching on that right now.
We're gonna deal with it though.
It's tough, you guys. It's tough. It's exhausting, but we are up for the fight by any means. We are going to try to shed some light on the situation and free some people, and
But
make a difference.
And we always got to say this. We always got to remember that we're fighting for those who can't fight for themselves, but also for those who can help fight for themselves and help fight with us, and fight for the future, our generations, because what we are doing, what we are all doing in this fight is going to help the future generations, and that is so important. As we said, our ancestors have provided us with, the blueprint. We just got to use it.
So let us try to stop something now. Let us I'll say that some people, I talk to my son all day long, like he's out here. But he doesn't even know he is surrounded by some really good individuals that could make a huge impact on the outside. My son himself is excellent with kids. Like I'm excited about what he'll be able to contribute when he gets out. Yeah. But he's surrounded by some really excellent people who keep him focused, and on track. So
yeah, we've talked to Mr. Porter several times as well. He is a highly intelligent gentleman.
And if we're just talking about, I'm saying the United States, which is all we know, this is where we're at. We account for a quarter of prisoners throughout the world. Like the number of people that the United States lock up, it's relevant because across the board it equals out. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about the number of people who are shot by the police, when you're talking about George Floyd situations, that stuff happens in prisons every day. Those correctional officers aren't it's not like a mandatory leave type situation. They come back to work, they finish their shift that day. Those, thankfully, that's not all B.A.M is
thankfully
responsible for.
Thank you.
If you have a situation with your loved one, though, we definitely can show you how to advocate for them. We definitely are knowledgeable on how to advocate for them, who you need to call. We know all the wardens, the warden assistants. We know the whole whole everything for the prison system in Ohio.
Yes, all the way from the bottom to the top. The investigators, you name it, we got it. Yes, sir. But it's definitely been a pleasure. Concurrent versus current. I hope you guys have a clear understanding what that means. In the state of Ohio, just to kind of reiterate, basically everyone is being sentenced concurrently. Plain and simple. The judge has to really give a complete understanding as to why someone would be sentenced consecutively, which makes sense. You got 10 charges, it shouldn't be 5. No.
Which would be 50 years instead
right.
of
easily.
If you had 10 charges for 5 years,
right,
instead of it just being 5 years, it would be 50 years. Yes. It would be 50 years.
Go figure. And you know who that's being done to. I'll pull the race card for you. The numbers speak.
Because a lot of these people have seen other offenders of every different crime released since they've been in there. Absolutely. So that's consecutive versus concurrent. If you'd like to join us, if you have something to say, we'll have a phone line also for you guys. You can always put a comment on here. If you'd like to join us in the studio, please reach out to us. By any means, BYEMEANZ at gmail.com.
They would put an innocent person. Oh,
or jump in our inbox. We're always available.
Yes. I love it. So next week, what are we talking about, T? And if you guys want some, want to hear us talk about some stuff, we're always open. Although we do have a set list of topics that we're discussing right now, we're always open to different things.
Next week, we're going to start a new case, new to you guys, very familiar to us. We've been dealing with it for over a year. We're just as passionate about every single case that we come across. We know these people, we know these individuals personally, as far as dealing with their family. We know their history. We know just their characteristics on a day to day. Very good, motivating, positive people. Yes, and we definitely it's a big responsibility because for a lot of these situations they haven't had people come and shed some sunlight and say, hey, this is an injustice what happened to you. Let us, and that's I don't know what we can do, but we're gonna throw everything at it to try and help your situation. We're gonna throw everything at it to try to help your situation.
Even
So
if
next week we're
how to go to the board. Let's figure it out. Yeah.
We're open to it. We're not, we're not scared to say we're new to this.
Yeah.
But we've been advocating all our lives.
Yeah.
And the track record is excellent. So
Yes.
it is. It is. It is. If nothing else, it's the squeaky wheel. If nothing else.
It really is. So hey.
So next week, whole new case. Join us. We're gonna have tons of information. Elijah Minor.
Yeah, it is Elijah Minor. Yeah. He changed his actually he changed his name prior to going to prison, but unless things
how
are
it
done.
is, how it works.
So it was done though. It's actually legal now, but the prison refuses to accept the legalities of his name, which is Elijah Minor Israel. So we have to call him Thetis Minor so that they'll understand this. When people go to look him up, it's Thetis Minor. Theotis is.
I'll
call him Theotis.
I'm Mr. Triplet, Mr. Porter, Mr. Minor, all of them.
Yeah,
so
right, Mr. Minor.
It's business, and we mean business. We mean business.
All business. Here go Mr. Minor right here, y'all.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get him on the phone.
Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from. This call is from a correction facility.
We do this, you guys. I can be sitting there doing hair, and I get tons of calls. I get tons of calls.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
We were just talking about you.
We are looking forward to handling your case next week. We are looking forward to shedding some light on your situation, sir.
Oh, is that right? I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can do it. I appreciate it. Hands down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I'm open.
Mr. Minor is.
Who are
crazy.
you?
That's Teresa, crazy.
Oh, Teresa. Hey, man.
You're live.
Hey, you're live, so the whole country can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay,
you're live.
Look, I have a couple of minutes. I still got my little workshop, and I gotta wait for a few minutes.
What's the name of your workshop, Mr. Minor?
It's called Think Tank.
What is it? You got a couple seconds to explain what that is?
Well, Think Tank is a result-driven program that really educates brothers about the 13th Amendment, first and foremost, and allow us to know that we have been placed in another form of slavery, okay? In which when we incarcerated, it's not told to us. We don't know. We just think we went to jail, but we are more slave than we think we are and know we are.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
We, allow brothers to see, how being here, our rights are being taken away, and it equates us to, the 1800s of being slaves. Second of all, we want to resurrect, the dead in us and bring us alive, with the ancestor spirit. The psychology that we have been brainwashed to absorb over the years. I say we've been convicted in the womb because we have not given a fair chance. When we come out the womb, we are giving someone else's psychology, and that's the way we live our lives. In many forms, education. to our ancestry, you know, and I try to make it plain that we have no nation, okay, to learn these things from. And I don't want to go deeper into the nation things because you know, I'll be having the Anti-Defamation League at me. But if you know where I'm going with that. But as a people without a nation, then we don't have knowledge of ourselves. You know, we just scattered around. And I make it plain that when we look for ourselves, there are blueprints that we can look for or look towards to identify who we are and where we come from. And that's a biblical reference. Okay, it tells us who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and they read it all the time and never even realize that, you know, some of those people that they're talking about is us. But,
yes.
You know.
Amira from Night of Poetry is listening to you. She wants you to know that she's here.
Oh, okay. All right. How are you?
Well, she can't hear you. She got to type. She said, "Speak, brother."
I'm glad that there's somebody's listening, you know, because you know, too many of us are in it. Like I was in the Matrix, you know. I woke up in here, you know. I'm comatose. I
yes,
just realized
sir.
when I woke up one day, I was in prison.
Yes.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Mr. Minor, we were talking about, I know you got to go back to your class. We were talking about the difference between concurrent versus consecutive sentencing in prison. And so that was our topic of discussion. We appreciate you coming and speaking.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
Well, actually, I appreciate everybody being on the panel. But I did come to drop a few words if I was invited to, if you have, you know, if the form is right.
Teresa's over there shaking her head. Yes, so go for it.
Okay, this is called the 7 apologies. When brothers are waking up to the abuse that we have treated our women, you know,
okay.
over the years, and this is what we must do. Okay. This is an apology to my beloved sisters, mothers, and women whom I have disappointed repeatedly when I failed to perform my responsibilities as protector, provider, maintainer, and representative. Yet even more than that, the man in which I was created to be. I have forfeited my responsibilities over household and that of my community, and for this, I apologize. Because of my nefarious behavior, life for you is unbalanced, placing the weight of the world on your shoulders. Although we, brothers, men, have been allowing you to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders for years, as we watch you shed sweat, blood, and tears. For this, I apologize. You are the mother of civilization who bear our children in the womb up until 9 months. A position and experience that we will never know the amount of pain you suffer, nor the psychological, physical, or emotional effect it has on you. I apologize for not taking the time out for your concern, nor having the patience to give you the ample attention that you, the mother who bears life through her womb, deserves. Then we, brothers, men, find reasons to cheat, dishonor, shame, and disrespect our sisters, mothers, and women. You ask why? I tell you why, because we, as male brothers, have not been taught what it is to be men. Instead, we as male brothers have been told to be thugs, gangsters, dope peddlers, pimps, players, and baby layers. You see, we as male brothers have been told to exterminate our seeds, successors, those who will continue our legacy. We have been told to cause ethical genocide. And for this, sisters, mothers, women, I apologize. I apologize to our grandmothers, mothers, aunts, sisters, daughters, nieces, and cousins of this beautiful bloodline. And I say until we, as men, begin to love, honor, cherish, respect, and protect our women, we will never be recognized for the true wisdom, our true strengths, our true beauty, nor our divine duties as men. You see, we as men must eliminate the self-emasculation, self-exploitation, self-degradation, and self-sterilization of our seeds, our successors, and those who will continue our legacy. We must take control over our destinies as wise men and rise. If not, well then, sisters, mothers, and women, I apologize. I apologize.
Ooh.
Thank you for allowing me to speak my piece.
Thank you. We thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Woo.
So, this call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Nothing you can do about that part.
Okay.
I want to thank you all. And I have to get back to my workshop right now, please.
Okay.
And I thank you.
Thank you.
Can I come on again sometime? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank all of you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Later.
So join us next week. We're going to jump on that topic. We're going to jump on that case by any means. Thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate all of you. Again, if there's anybody who wants to help, reach out. If you have some topics, if you have any ideas or you can help in any way, we'd love to hear from you. Our number is up there, and we will be taking phone calls next week.
Yes,
Yes, we do hate that voice.
We hate that voice. Like, oh my gosh, I hate when she comes on. I'll be like, will you please get out of our business? Please. Thank you. By any means, phone number is 330. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Nice of Poetry. Amir Rose is here joining us. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support. Elijah Gilmore as well. By any means, phone number is 330-595-9198. You can call this phone number at up until whatever time Teresa feels like answering. And be respectful. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for listening in. Thank you for coming to another week of TNT Radio with By Any Means. And we will see y'all next week. We're going to bring some fire. Okay. All right. Peace.
Good night.
Good night. Oh.